Yeah, this is a Thermomix. As all gadgets we have nowadays, it connects to an app on your phone. So you download the app, you get 6 months free for cookie dough. You can type in a search, find your recipes, you can save them, you can make shopping lists. And when you get home and you switch on your Thermomix, you basically just go into home and you pick my week. And I'll see if you can see that. So my week comes up and I've stored what I was going to make today. And you basically just hit the button and you start cooking. It's basically as simple as that. It'll chop a kilo of onions in 6 seconds. It will make pretty much everything apart from popcorn and toast and chips. But you could probably do chips in it now.
That's, yeah.
So you've got a 2.2 litre jug with which the base comes off of for cleaning. And you've got this blade, which is sharp on one side and blunt on the other. So you can stir a risotto or grind up spices and herbs and ice like we're going to show you. Just fits back in there. You sit it back in, click it, and you just make sure that your base is in correctly, and that's you ready to go. It's also got the TM6 is a clever little green gate that doesn't let you put it in if the base is not put in correctly. So you've got 2.2 litres here, and that sits on there. And you have a lid with a hole, and you have a measuring cup which does 50 and 100 ml. It also has little gaps, so you can see, so you can make your own mayonnaise. So you basically just drizzle your oil in the top and it pours in at the right consistency and you get an amazing mayonnaise. So you also get with it is the aroma. So the aroma sits on top. It has a base section. This is the bowl. So you can put all your vegetables in there. You can have your rice or soup in here. You can add fish, which I like to do. I like to do it all in one dinner. Switch it on in 20 minutes, go have a shower, walk the dogs, come back and your dinner's already made, and that's your lid sits on there. So that comes with it as well. Right, put the lights on. Dark. So when you're steaming at 120 degrees. So you always lift the lid towards you to escape, let the steam escape, and you can use that as a base. So that's the aroma. A cross between aroma and vapor, apparently. I think it's a made-up word. So I should have said, my name is Fiona Douglas, and I've been a Thermomix advisor for nearly 10 years.
Wow.
That should mean that I know what I'm talking about, but yeah, every day is a school day. I enjoy learning from my customers. A lot of the time it's always evolving and you're finding new recipes all the time. So it's super exciting. Yeah, so the other thing you get is you get a frying lid, which lets you reduce sauces and lets you use temperatures of 160 degrees. So you can brown mince, onions and things like that. So that's just a safety feature, and that just, the recipes will tell you when to add that, so you don't need to worry about that. The other thing you get is the steamer basket, which has a lid. This is the old ones. The new one's got a lid. And that has several uses. You can use it to grind small amounts of spices. So you put your spices in the bowl and you sit that on top and it keeps everything down. You can use it for straining. You can use it for weighing. So while in this machine, while it's running below speed 4, you can sit it on the top and weigh and use your scales while you're cooking another recipe, which is brilliant. You can use it to strain, so you can make a lovely lemonade. So if you've got lots of lemons or oranges, you can make a lovely lemonade. Water and some sugar, zap it all up, and then you use that to strain. You also have a lovely spatula, which you use as a handle. So that helps you strain out and hold it while you're straining. Yeah, great for steaming rice, makes beautiful rice. Makes beautiful sushi rice. I got rid of a lot of my gadgets. I don't have my Kenwood, don't have my rice cooker.
I've got rid of my rice cooker and I got rid of my Magimix.
Yeah.
I've still got my KitchenAid, but I got rid of those two.
Yeah.
There's no need. And the rice is brilliant if you steam it, you know.
Yeah, oh, it's beautiful.
Really good.
And you can leave it in the bowl. I tend to rinse it. I rinse the rice for 2 minutes before I use the steamed rice program. And but I shorten the time by 5 minutes, and you can leave it in there for 15, 20 minutes, and it stays nice and warm, and you get beautiful fluffy rice. It's just really nice. But yeah, you can mash up your lemons with some water, and then you can use that to strain it out. You can also use it in the traditional way. You can strain it out this way using the spatula as a handle. So they're thinking of everything. It's all, I'll show you later. It's got a wee cowl on it, which means you can stir inside the bowl without touching the blades. And it's also designed that when you sit it on the table, it doesn't mark your worktop. I've thought of everything. So the other thing you get is a whisk. You get a handy wee whisk, and that's good for stirring stews or making meringues or pavlovas, whisking eggs, making mayonnaise, sauces. It's a handy wee gadget. Yeah, so you've got 3 different screens actually on the Thermomix. You've got the home screen, which is the same as what's on your phone. See that? So you can search cookie dough. Yeah, you can search by ingredient. You can scroll through it like a magazine. It gives you suggestions. It tells you what people are making. And then you can search for recipes. You can search for the cookbooks. There's thousands of recipes online, even just in the UK platform. If you change your filters, you can search all over the world. We barely have the same thing twice. You can search by ingredient. So if you've got a lot of leeks, you can make a quiche, or you can make leek and potato soup. You can even make your own vegetable stock paste here as well. So this is always being updated all the time. And you can add your recipes from the machine or from the app or from a laptop. So this is the basic screen. So you have time, temperature, and speed. It's touch screen. So as you touch it, you can highlight it and change the time. The temperature goes up to 120 in manual mode, 160 in guided cooking. And then you have your speed, which goes all the way up from speed spoon, which is a stirring soft, the Australians call it. And you've also got a reverse blade for stirring a risotto. So this is manual mode. And then you can scroll across to the mode screen. So these are all the modes that they've added. They've added a few more since this product's been launched. So you've got your scales, you've got dough, you've got turbo for dry ingredients only. It's maximum speed straight away. You've also got a pre-clean program, which I'll show you. So it basically washes, and it's a sensor wash, so it knows how dirty your bowl is. Blend's a handy one, so you can throw all your stuff in from a smoothie and then just hit the button. It starts off slow and goes up to full speed, and you can set the timer there. You've got an egg boiler, which is quite handy. You can boil a lot of eggs in the steamer basket, but you can do even more in the Varoma. So if you were catering, you can, I think, something like 54 eggs or something like that, you can get into the Varoma. It's got a kettle mode. I've not really used that. If you want to make black tea and you want the water at 85 degrees, you can use that facility. It has a warm-up as well, which is really handy. If you've got soup in the jug in the fridge, stick it on there and decide what temperature you want it to go up to. Stops when it gets to that temperature, very accurate temperature. So you can do things like tempering chocolate. It's great for that. That's another brilliant one. It's called thickening. So you basically put all your ingredients for a flour-based sauce, like a creme pat or a custard. Click start and the temperature you want, and it will stop when it's come to the right consistency, believe it or not. So that's a handy one. Rice cooker. I don't use the rice cooker. I always just use the steamed rice recipe. I think this depends on what kind of rice you're using. I always use basmati, and I just find the steamed rice recipe is just, it never fails. So this is, I don't really use that, but people swear by it. You've also got fermentation, slow cooking, and sous vide. So if you're going to do sous vide, you can sous vide in the basket.
Okay.
Or if you purchase a blade cover, this is about the only accessory they don't provide is the blade cover. Now this is being replaced by a metal one, and that basically sits into your bowl. But the new one is supposed to peel potatoes, so that is quite handy.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Stick the tatties in and then go away. So I want to experiment with it and see if it'll actually grate as well. Because that would be handy. Yeah. So they're coming up with new things all the time. But yeah, I would recommend the blade cover because you can do things like slow cook poached pears and red wine and do the sous vide. And there's a great book. They've got lots of recipes for doing teriyaki salmon and fish and things like that. So that's quite the thing to have. So I think that's about £20. So your machine comes with cookie dough already built in, and you get 6 months free. After that, version 2 is £30 a year, but coming soon is version 3. And in version 3, I'm super excited about this, you can alter the recipes on cookie dough. So you can write your own recipes and have them pop up on the machine for your husband to make, or your partner to make, or your kids to make, hopefully. So you can alter the recipes and save them as your own. So if you've got a special diet, you can change a curry, you can drop the salt, sugar, and it's already there in the guided cooking, which I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to start. This is basically my dinner. So I'm just basically having this curry tonight. So I like it. So when you've loaded into your recipes, onto your cookie dough, you come in, the recipes pop up, you touch what you want to make, you can view the recipe and make sure you've got all the ingredients, and then you can just press continue. So we're going to do this lentil curry, and I'm just going to do it right now, and it should be done in an hour. So I'm just going to get started. So it asks for fresh coriander, but I don't like coriander, so you just skip it. Great. So you can transfer that to a bowl, click next, and then it asks for your onions. As I said, it will chop a kilo of onions in 6 seconds. No more crying. So it's brilliant. So you just peel your onion and you stick it in there, and you click next, and you basically just follow along. I don't know if anyone ever played Cooking Mama on the DS. This is exactly what it's like. So now it's going to ask for garlic, chili, and ginger. Now, normally I just freeze my ginger and I just throw it in frozen. Stick that in there. Click next. So ask for the garlic, root ginger, some chili, and then you stick the lid on. Just make sure the lid's down at the back and right in close, and then you click next, and then this is where it gets noisy. So excuse the noise. So it's going to chop this onion in 5 seconds with the ginger. So it's got a nice wee tune at the end, which you can change or switch off, turn up, turn down. So that's your 5 seconds, and you can see it's chopped all the onion up. And if you click next, it usually says scrape down the bowl. Yep, so you just scrape down the bowl with the spatula. You always go in a clockwise direction with the silicone spatula, so you're against the blunt blades and you don't hack up your nice spatula.
Because it's quite small as well, isn't it? Because my kids are quite fussy about vegetables and things, so.
Very small.
My kids are quite fussy about vegetables and things, so it's quite good that you can cut things down really small as well.
Yes, yes. There's a group called Veggie Smugglers. And it's basically to let parents use the machine to hide vegetables and everything.
That's what I need.
So, straight down the sides, I think it's going to ask me to chop it again. I don't think it needs chopped again, to be honest. It said chop again. Yeah, Steve, do a bolognese. You can mince all the veg before you put, and it just disappears. I was going to make zucchini muffins because there's a nice recipe for halloumi and zucchini muffins, and yeah, there's Right, I'm not going to chop it again because I think it's chopped enough. So now we're going to add some olive oil. You've got inbuilt scales, so you just pour in what you want. And 10 grams is enough. 15 is quite a lot. You can always tear the which takes it back to 0, like next. And then it's going to fry the onions for me. There we go. And the next. And the machine sets it up for you, so you don't even need to do anything. You basically need a finger, and you just turn the dial to where it's indicated. It's got a sticky point, so it stops where it's supposed to go, and that's just going to fry up the onions for me before we add the other ingredients. I couldn't get any aubergine, so I just chopped up. You would usually just slice in half an aubergine in slices, because this curry cooks in about 20 minutes. But I'm just going to use small chunks of carrot and sweet potato. I've got some butternut squash in there as well, and you can actually do this recipe with frozen veg as well. So I like the Tesco Mediterranean veg for the curries, or you can roast your own veg and then throw that into the sauce. It's really, really nice, and it all freezes. This is vegan as well. My daughter's coming for dinner tonight, so yeah. So special diets. There's loads of collections on Cookie Doo. As I said, you can go all over the world. If you don't speak another language, I use Google Chrome, and it translates all the recipes for me. So you can do things from Polish dumplings to French recipes. Have you experimented with that, Shalini?
Sorry, what was that, Fiona?
Have you experimented with the international
Yes, I have.
recipes?
Yeah, I made what did I make? It was canellis. I used a version online, and it was only on the French website, so I used it on Chrome. But what I did was I used that recipe, but I adapted it and used Michel Roux kind of ingredients and proportions, but I used that program.
Wow.
And translated it, and it was brilliant. Actually, it was so much less hassle than doing it all myself on a hob with umpteen pots and pans. So like this morning I made waffles, and I might use the actual Cookie Doo program for pancakes and waffles, but I used a Heston recipe with his proportions. So it means, I mean, the waffles are lovely and it's much quicker, and I've always cooked from scratch, but this has actually made it so much less hassle, especially with open plan living. It means I don't have 3,000 pots and pans out.
Yeah.
And there's very little washing because it just washes itself, and then I just chuck it in the dishwasher, and my life is so much simpler.
Brilliant. And then, of course, now when 3.0 comes out, you'll be able to write those recipes on your laptop or your phone, and then they'll be there for you to use and share.
I mean, what I absolutely love is being able to put stuff. I mean, I shop with Waitrose, and the problem is I order my stuff. I kind of get a slot, and you can't retrospectively add to a slot, which is a bit annoying. But if you didn't do that, you'd add all what you want to put for the week into your shopping list in your phone, and it gives you a list of all the items that you need. And I just tick them off as I add them to my Waitrose order. And it means I'm actually not wasting food. The amount of stuff in the fridge that's fresh, I just get what I need for the week.
Yeah.
And it also takes the whole having to plan on a Wednesday night after the clinic, after Ash gets home from sport, what I need to cook is there. I know what I'm cooking. There is no argument. We decide on a Saturday what we're having for the week. Everybody gets a choice, add it in, like it or lump it, but we get a really good variety, you know?
Because you can plan months in ahead as well, and you can make collections for special occasions, for birthdays. I've added my veg, I've just added, and then I'm adding 150 grams of red lentils in there, and some black mustard seeds. Just half a teaspoon of black mustard seed. It's amazing for doing curries because you can roast and grind all your fresh spices at the beginning and make all your sauces.
Especially for you, Annabelle, being, you know, not in a city centre, things like garam masala and stuff, you might not have them in the cupboard, but you can actually make it yourself with the stuff you've got in the fridge.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff we can't get, you know, and the yogurt thing appeals to me quite a lot because we cannot, like, we just cannot get anything that nice, right?
Really?
You know, like we don't have a Waitrose, and we don't have, like, even just a lot of things we try to order, our local supermarkets don't have them.
Really?
I mean, it's brilliant, like things like Korean fried chicken. I mean, if I want some, I nip down to Barrish Road, but you could actually make it yourself if you've got a good air fryer or whatever else. And but the sauces that makes, and the creme pat is just divine. The custards are just beautiful. We don't buy custard anymore.
Yeah,
I've been a home cook for years, and it never occurred to me before you could actually make custard from eggs. It came in a can. I never made my own custard. Yes, that was a revelation. I'm tweaking this recipe a wee bit because I'm just going to use a tin of tomatoes. So I'm going to put the tin of tomatoes in now instead of adding the fresh tomatoes later. And I put in a stock cube because there's plenty of liquid in the tomatoes. So yeah, I just keep going and just keep adding, and then just doing as I'm told, which I don't normally like, but with this I do it. And I say you just turn it on, and that's going to cook for 6 minutes. So that's not too noisy. I might just squeeze it round the corner a wee bit to show you how to make the mango sorbet. 2 minutes.
Just like the idea of everything being in one pot, it just seems to make life so much easier, doesn't it? Without, like you say, without having sort of 4 or 5 different things doing the same.
Totally. You know, like this morning when I made the waffles, it literally was, I melted the butter in it, I measured everything into that, I whipped it in that. I didn't have to get my scales out, I didn't have to get 2 or 3 bowls out, I didn't have to get a bowl for measuring the butter out. And once it was done, I've literally washed it in the dish sheet. That's it. Yeah. And this evening, I'm going to be making brown rice, but it steams it. And it makes beautiful steamed brown rice, about 35 minutes in Varoma, speed 4. Really good brown basmati rice. Just not overcooked, not undercooked, just perfect. Yeah. So it's weird, actually, because I had sat on the fence on it for a wee while. But total convert. I wish I got it years ago.
Yeah. So this is one of my all-time favourites. It's a sorbet, but it just shows you what you can do if it's going to play ball and connect. My Wi-Fi is not behaving at all. This is basically yogurt and frozen fruit. So you can add anything you want in here as well. Not going to connect. So you can do a dairy-free version. You can make your own yogurt and use your own yogurt. I bought coconut yogurt because I was going to do the flatbreads, but I'm not eating bread at the moment, so I would use 150 grams of it in the flatbreads, and I would use the rest for a mango sorbet. So you can use any frozen fruit you want. It's better if it's in small chunks. So if you're freezing your own, if you've got lots of leftover fruit, just make sure it's all separated in the tray before you put it in the bag, so it's not in big chunks. Anything that's about the size of a strawberry or an ice cube, it will destroy. So I like this recipe because you can make ice cream, you can make sorbet, you can make a granita for cocktails, you can do lots of things with this. So hopefully we're connected now. And just click on the recipe. This is dairy-free mango ice cream. You can sign up to Cookie Do anytime you want. You get a free month, Annabelle, so you can have a look and see all the recipes you have. Start cooking. I'm not putting any sugar in it because I think the mango's sweet enough. This is a great one for kids. It just tastes like ice cream, and it's got no sugar. So this actually grinds the sugar for you first. So you can make your own icing sugar, your own caster sugar. You can also use unrefined sugar. So it's very difficult to get unrefined caster and unrefined icing sugar. But you can do it in this machine in the same way that you can make your own oats. You can make your own rice flours. You can make your own milks, your own nut butters. It can all be done in the Thermomix, and there's recipes.
Would it make jam? Would it make jam?
Yeah. Jam. One of my favourites is a red pepper and chili jam. You just put everything in, walk away, come back, and it's gorgeous. Yeah, jams.
There's a great recipe. Rachel Allen's got an Instagram page, and she's been doing Thermomix in Ireland. And have a look on her Insta page, because she's actually got a recipe for scones and raspberry jam. And it's so simple. And I was quite shocked because you don't need to stir it, just does it. And it's not a big deal at all to make jam. I was quite surprised.
So you get a wonderful range of weird and wonderful mixes now, because they make smoothie mixes, so you can get papaya and mango and pineapple. So you can make a smoothie in a minute. Takes 2 minutes to clean it, and you can make up your own smoothies with frozen vegetables, maybe some fruit. Try and do fruit, veg, and you can use water. I use coconut water, and stick it on the blend for 1 minute, and actually you've got a litre, 2 litres of smoothie ready to go. So that's my mango. I'm going to add a wee bit of vanilla. If you had vanilla yogurt, you wouldn't need to add vanilla.
Yeah.
So a wee bit of vanilla in there. So I always have fruit in the fridge and in the freezer. If you fancy a wee bit of something after your dinner, you can whiz up 2 portions of ice cream if you want, or just put it in the freezer. So yeah, in goes the yogurt. I'm not going to put quite as much as they're saying, because I don't have the full amount of fruit. So full amount of fruit. So yeah, you can adapt your recipes. You can skip salt. You can add sugar alternatives. It's fully adaptable. It's not going to email the office if you don't follow the recipe properly. But yeah, obviously there's guidelines there with not overfilling it and things like that. So yeah, so I'm going to use the spatula. Again, this is quite noisy, so bear with me. And I'm going to mix it through the bowl, through the lid of the bowl. That's it. Mango sorbet done.
Easy, yeah.
So you can have it as smooth or as so you could make a granita just with the frozen fruit. We do a most beautiful basil sorbet with ice and basil. It's absolutely stunning. So yeah, so there's your ice cream. I wish you could taste it.
What do we?
But yeah, it's so quick, and if you just, I live in the middle of nowhere, so the freezer's handy.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff in the freezer as well. So
I think it's more of a, it's just nice to be able to make things from scratch with ease, though, isn't it? Yeah.
And the fact that there's no sugar in it, and trust me, it tastes gorgeous. Beautiful. So you can use different flavors of yogurt as well. Make your own yogurt.
Yeah.
And that's great fun. You can make your own cheese. You can make halloumi and mozzarella. That's getting very popular. And that's your sorbet done. So if you're entertaining, it is just an extra pair of hands in the kitchen. If you like to cook, you can be cooking something else. If you don't like to cook, it can cook for you. If you what's going to say? I've sold it to people that can't cook. I've sold it to people that won't cook. And it's.
I was hoping it might persuade my husband to do some cooking. But...
well, there's a story.
That was the theory. John makes the smoothies. That's about it. But he quite likes it for the smoothies. It makes great smoothies.
Yeah, I'm afraid my husband dislikes the results. Yeah, it's been taken a wee while to be a convert, because sometimes if you make your own recipes in it, they don't taste the same on the hob. But over the years, I've found Thermomix replacements, or I've tweaked the recipes. So you can easily do your own recipes. Just find, as Shalini says, you find the basic recipe and then just tweak it to your own requirements. And just put that on for another 6 minutes and chat. But yeah, no, I think I've been doing this for 10 years, and I think my husband's used it 3 times. In that, he made a risotto.
John's better. John's made milkshakes and smoothies. Yeah, that's it. But this is what it is.
I can only hope, can't we? We can only hope.
As long as he does another one and then
but he does them every day.
You get the bug. Don't stick it in a cupboard. You know.
No.
I've had some customers that were going, "Oh, I don't know how to use this," and I was like, "I've showed you how to use it. You know, just go pick a recipe." Once you get started, it's just totally addictive, because you go, "Oh my God, you can make souffles without separating the eggs in 20 minutes and then throw it in the oven and go away and leave it. I can make chocolate fondants and put them in the oven 13 minutes one Christmas." And
it's the soups. I mean, the soups are so smooth. It just blends them. They're like velvet. The custards, the souffles. What else did we make? Risotto. There's an amazing pea and pancetta risotto that is just so simple and really easy. Really easy. You know, instead of standing and stirring, because I've got such a busy life. I like to eat fresh, but I don't have time to constantly be here. So quite often I might put it on, like if I have a break mid-afternoon, we're working, I'll come in, chuck the ingredients, make the custard, go back in and be working until it's finished. It's brilliant.
I know, it's a huge time saver. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out the sorbet and show you how it washes itself.
Come and watch. All the children are coming in.
Brilliant.
The pre-wash thing, Annabelle, is one of my favourite things about it, because it just washes itself while you're having your dinner.
You can't get better than that, can you? I can't ask better.
And literally, you fill it with water, wee squirt of fairy, you put it on its pre-clean, and then you're eating, and it's like washed itself. I'm like, this is amazing.
I'll just show you what's in the bowl, and what I do is I just stick it on the machine. You always lift the machine, because you've got 3 little rubber feet that your machine relies on for its scales. So you always lift the chef, never drag.
Okay.
So if I've got a dirty bowl, what I do is this works for stews, works for anything. I just waz it up, and what that does is just throws everything off the blades, and cleans the blades, and then you can easily scoop it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover the blades and just put a wee spot of fairy liquid in there. I'll get the worst of it out, so you know I'm not, and I'll show you, because I'm not going to get it all out, just to show you. Right, no cheating, right? So the bowl is reasonably dirty. What I did was I just covered the blades, give it a wee swish round, empty that up, refill the water, and then 1 wee drop of fairy. That on there. The lid's still quite dirty. Swipe, pre-clean, and you've got an option of 4 different options: universal, fat, and browning. So we'll stick it on universal, and it works out how dirty the bowl is by the restriction in the blades. So it's incredibly clever. So the curry is cooking away there. So I did download a stir fry, which looks quite nice. So you can do stir fries in it as well, and you don't have all the smoke. So you can do your veg and walk away and leave it. You don't have to stand and stir it. So it's just awesome. So you will find that the more you use it, the more you'll be using Thermomix recipes.
Yeah.
Because you can go for a shower, you can talk to the kids, you can do some homework, and the dinner's cooking. And as I said, my favourite thing to do is layer everything up in the Thermomix. So I've got some fish. I would use the baroma. You can put your rice. You can make ramen. Ramen's a big favourite in the house. So you can cook your pak choy in the top. You can make your broth in the bottom. You can whiz up prawn and the prawn dumplings and put them in the varoma as well. So your soup is cooking, your noodles are ready, and as I say, everything is cooking in the varoma. You can line the base of the tray for your fish. Put a little bit of soy sauce and ginger and spring onion. Anything that cooks a bit slower, you put in here with your rice, because that takes 20 minutes. So that'll be your veg cooked. Add your bok choy and your fish on the top. 10 minutes, open a bottle of wine, and you come back, you've got gorgeous steamed fish. It's super healthy. You can steam chicken in it as well. This curry dish you can do with steamed chicken. What I tend to do with chicken if I'm steaming it is I would put some spices on the top, or maybe some turmeric, just because it will look a bit anemic. Or you can grill it. You can actually steam a whole chicken in here in under 90 minutes. And that's making a broth at the same time. So I can get 2 pots of soup out of one chicken, because I'll get all the juices from the chicken go down into the bowl for your soup, and then you can boil up the bones and use that again. So it's very efficient for that. Great for leftovers, as Shani says, if you're meal planning. A lot less waste in food. I think if there's anything else. Oh, that's the curry. Curry might need a wee bit longer, and I can add some coriander to that now if anybody wants it. But yeah, probably put a wee bit more water in this. Oh, the coconut milk's to go in. That's why. So we're going to add the coconut milk now. So the veggies have all cooked down, and the lentils are getting there. So a can of coconut water. You don't have coconut milk. If you don't have coconut milk, you can use a carton of coconut cream and just make it up with water. Sometimes that gives you a nicer, creamier curry. So at this point, you can also add spinach, frozen spinach or fresh spinach as well. Put your coconut water in here, coconut milk, and now it's going on to reverse blade automatically. Can you hear me over the dishwasher? Probably didn't need a long one for just what was in it, but it shows you what it does. It's amazing. Well, we don't tend to have as many carryouts as we used to, and I mean, pizza is ridiculously expensive, especially for a family of 4. But you can make 4 pizzas, and the kids can all get involved, and it's such fun, and it's so much healthier for you. So yeah, that's your bowl. I'm just going to empty it out. It's pretty clean.
But I think the curries in particular sound really nice. Being able to make the pastes and is quite a big advantage, isn't it? I always feel bad because we've got an aga, and I feel like I should be using that all the time, but it's not.
You can make your massaman curry paste. You can make that in the thermi. You can put your lamb, your coconut milk, your potatoes, and you can slow cook it in the aga. Yeah. You don't have to follow that through on the. You can make part and parcel of it.
You can make your sauces. You can do all your prep. So yeah, that's your bowl clean, basically.
Like for bolognese stuff, I kind of use that to do my sofrito and for it to saute up. But I prefer my slow cooker because I feel sometimes the blade makes the meat a little bit more fine than I would like it to be. But all the vegetables, that's all right. But I almost kind of mix and match it. You take a while to kind of get used to it. But it's brilliant in terms of convenience and not having to stand by the stove and stir. That's my favourite thing about it.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to go away and do something for 20 minutes or whatever is great, isn't it?
If you use chicken thighs, they tend to stay a wee bit more, the texture's a wee bit better. I'm even using it to brown my mince now. I've hacked one of the 160 recipes, and I can do, I think it's for 250 grams of beef strips, brown beef strips. and you can chop the onion and put 500 grams of steak mince into it, and then I just cook it as the guided recipe says, and it doesn't stop, because if you're making things like honeycomb, it's a guided recipe that goes to 160 degrees, so it's very restrictive on the measurements. You have to keep it within, grams, because obviously it's boiling sugar, and they don't want you to be overfilling and doing things like that. So it will stop if you put too much in. Or you don't put the right ingredients. Actually knows by the restriction of the blade, because we thought, 160, we need to use the 160, and it wouldn't let us doing the honeycomb or the salted caramel sauce, which is amazing, sticky toffee pudding, and caramel. So we couldn't hack it. But when I did the beef brown strips, I said I might be able to use this with the mince. So I've been practicing, experimenting. And I just throw the 500 grams of mince in, make sure it's all chopped down, go away and leave it. It's a real good, my mum's recipe, and it's like half a pint of Bristol with some Worcestershire sauce, throw that in and put it on for 40 minutes. And it's as good as what I used to make on the stove. And Alec actually said, did you make this in the Thermomix? And I'm like, yes, because usually when I did things like that, it would just mince it up. But you've got the reverse blade, which is fantastic. You just got to be careful if you're reheating a curry. I find that just destroys it, because the constant movement is just, but that's where you put it in the aga. So if you did have leftovers, stick it in the aga. I've got a lot of customers that have got agas, and they do all the prep, and then they'll stick it in the slow oven and go to work. And
But even things like tandoori paste, so it's so quick for that. Then you just marinate your chicken thighs and do whatever you do in the aga in the hot oven, and it'd be perfect. But it's just, you're not having to chop the onions, weigh them separately, touch all the stuff. It's great for that.
That's fantastic. So that should be the curry done. You can see the curry. I'll maybe put it in a bowl. Yeah, I could have maybe gone for some other vegetables other than orange, but I guess it's Halloween coming up. So I prefer to use butternut squash instead of pumpkin, because I just think it's amazing. So yeah, that's the dinner made. So my daughter's coming for dinner. She's
easy, isn't it?
She has her own folder. She logs into our account. I call it our account, and she can add things. She go, Mum, make that, make this. Yeah, so I know what my orders are when I come in, because I just press my week and things have popped up. We're making that tonight then, or rather, I'm making that tonight. So rather than vegan was a whole new concept that I knew nothing about, and but instead of just having meat and 2 veg, we're cooking with vegetables now. So we're making curries, we're making broad bean falafels, we're making things with jackfruit, barbecued pulled jackfruit that just tastes like pork. We're making shawarma bowls and Buddha bowls, and it's just every day is just something new.
Definitely widens your boundaries a bit, doesn't it? Because that's what I find. I end up making a lot of the same stuff as well, and need a bit more inspiration.
Even things like what we used to have lasagna. Well, lasagna is a pain in the backside, because you've got a bowl for the sauce, a bowl for the ragu, a bowl for this. You can make your own pasta, and you can make it any colour you want, and the kids, it's just great for the kids. The kids can use it. There's a Disney cookbook, you can make the carrot and the frozen. You can make his carrot cake, and it just gets the kids excited about food, and it's healthy. It's just an absolute amazing machine. I can't rave about it enough. But anyway, because Shalini organised the demo, she's got a choice of host gifts, so she can have £50 off the Thermomix Friend, which I've lent to someone, and that's.
I've actually got it though. I don't need it. I've got a Thermomix Friend. I'll get mine out to show you. One sec.
Oh, thank you. So because Friend, which she's already got, she can get £50 off the new vacuum sealer. So there's a new Thermomix vacuum sealer, or a free baking mat. So I will be going back down to Kelso at some point. You're not far from Kelso.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you want to have a hands-on demo, that's no problem at all. So you
So
can
that's
actually buy it with 0% finance this month for 12, 20 and 6 months. I'll let Shalini show you the thing.
no, you can talk through. So that's basically it. It's a spare bowl, and a little base, which is quite good for things like once you've actually made your base stuff. If you want to use, you can't food process on this, but you can use the Varroa setting and everything else. It's not great for chunky meats and things for cooking, so you wouldn't be able to cook like tiny lamb cutlets in it. But for mince or for dal or anything like that, it's brilliant. It's really good for that. So sometimes what I'll do is I've got a recipe which does a spinach and lentil dal on cookie dough, and then I've got another recipe which is from the Indian cookie book, Indian Thermomix book, and I'll maybe make the dal, chop everything up in here, and then I'll put it on this to cook, and then I'll make the other thing on the main machine, and they actually sync together if you need them to.
Okay.
Or rice, you can make it in it as well. Takes up hardly any space at all. It is good. I can't. I mean, I think there was a special deal when I got it, wasn't there? It was a little bit less. Anyway, I think there was that month's kind of deal, but no, it is really good. I'm looking forward to the sous vide side of it and doing stuff for everybody the way they want them, because John likes his rare to medium rare. I like my medium well, and Ash likes his medium. So I'm quite looking forward to sous videing it, having everybody's the way they want it, and then whacking it on. Yeah, but no, it's been brilliant.
Awesome. But yes, so yeah, so it's £1,149. That includes your delivery, 2 years domestic warranty. Usually you get it between 3 and 5 days. Generally it comes quicker than that. I think that's about it. But as I say,
that's fine. Will you be able to put that on like an email with the recording on? Was that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. And
wait, I might make Pete watch the recording.
Oh no, I don't like. Actually, this actually went quite well. Usually when I do sort of online classes, there's usually a disaster. But anyway, no, this actually went not bad. Seems I'm a bit rusty as well, so it's all going online now, so which is great. But yeah, I'll be down in the borders. I've got some calls to make. I've got to go back to Kelso at some point. So yeah, we can do what's called a welcome visit, and if you wanted to invite 2 friends,
that'd be really good. Yeah, that'd be good.
Do a face-to-face.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it just cuts a lot of time, I think, doesn't it? It just and I like the idea of being able to do yogurt and jams, like just being able to make more things from scratch, but without the hassle of doing it.
I never, well, when I started, there was no guided cooking. We had the TM31, which was basically a heater that moved and didn't do very much. And when they brought out the TM5 and the guided cooking, I went, I don't need guided cooking. I know what I'm doing. I can read a recipe. But, you know, even if you're making a recipe that you've made a million times before, you just come in and just do it, and you don't have to think about it. You just press next. Away you go, cup of tea, lie down, and your steamed meatballs and tomato sauce are ready. And it's just beautiful, healthy food. And it's just, it saves you money as well. And your health as well. No, I love it. Brilliant, Annabelle. Well, I'm going to
It's things like cinnamon rolls. I mean, amazing, freshly made cinnamon rolls on a Sunday morning for brunch. You know, when you don't have amazing bakeries right on your doorstep. So you've got a wee notion. Just make it the night before, chuck it in the morning. It's just brilliant.
Even doing like savoury muffins, like sweet potato muffins for the kids, and you just whiz it all up. And the recipe I've got is halloumi and courgette, and you just throw it all in with a couple of eggs and some flour. You whiz it all up, you put it in muffin tins, you even put it in cases, stick it in the oven. They can have them hot, they can have them cold in their lunchbox. You know, you can make them biscuits, you can make them yogurts, you can hide vegetables.
Quiches, amazing quiche. John was like, this is the best quiche we've ever had. Amazing quiche recipes. I mean, the pastries are really fine. It's kind of odd because it wasn't like I didn't have a Magimix 5200 XL before, which is a great machine. Don't get me wrong, but it's so much quicker. I don't know why, but it's much quicker. The only thing it doesn't do is slice things into, you know, how you can push down with the Magimix. That's the only thing it doesn't do, which I'm a bit like, oh, I need something which will do that. But apart from that, it does everything else and more.
Yeah.
Sometimes I make Scotch broth and I just chop up the carrots and the parsnips and the lentils and I just throw it all in the machine and chop it. I'm not really worried because if you're going to blend it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to chop little squares. I like chopping into little squares and I put them all in my basket. I set that in the stock and then you've got your onion and your parsley and you can make Scotch broth. And if you want to chop the vegetables, chop the vegetables. I think a slicer will come. I think this grater.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this grater.
I saw that. There's actually a video on Thermomix France showing you them putting the potatoes in with a bit of water and they come out beautifully done. I was like, oh, need one of
That
those.
would be really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that idea. So yeah, I need
I
to
know.
talk back about that, and then I'm super excited about being able to adapt your own recipes. Brilliant, right? I'm going to go because
Brilliant.
that's an hour. Thanks for your
you,
time.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Details, Annabelle, and we'll talk to you later.